Hey, this is Seth, and in this video I want to talk about how to deal with AI anxiety and how to actually embrace this technology and help it enhance your life and your career. And I'm making this video standing by a very calming bay in the ocean because I want this video to have a calming effect. So the thing is, we are living through a huge technological change, and for many people this is the first time this happened. I was around before the internet, if you can imagine a life without the internet. And when the internet was, coming into existence, there was similar fear that people are having with AI. And what I want you to just become aware of is this fear has a palpable power over people's minds, and it distorts how you look at reality. And it's very, very pervasive. In fact, I didn't even hear the term AI anxiety till a little while ago. And when I heard it, I said, this is a great term because it really helps distinguish this. You want to distinguish your fears about life, money, your career, your future from the actual technology and what's happening. And most people have collapsed these things so much that they can't see the difference. And if you're on YouTube or you're watching the news, unfortunately, these media outlets capitalize on that. So the news is designed to outrage you, make you afraid. They want to get your attention, so they're going to create headlines that are going to make you more afraid. YouTube channels, there's a popular one, and every once in a while I'll have a video that's like, AI is going to destroy everything. And then of course you click on it because you want to watch it, because it triggered the fear. And if you're too deep into the fear, you can't see what's actually happening. And what's actually happening is we have a new technology. It's happening. We can't stop it. So your only real choice is to embrace it. The thing that kind of inspired me to make this video is I got a comment on one of my videos that said, all the jobs are gone, AI is taking over, do something else. And I thought this probably reflects how people feel. And I felt it too. Everyone's got a little bit of fear because of uncertainty. The stock market is a really interesting mechanism because what does the stock market hate more than anything? It doesn't hate bad news, it doesn't even hate a recession, it hates uncertainty. So you could have really bad news and the stock market will go up. But if you have uncertainty, the stock market crashes because human beings hate uncertainty. And what's happening is with the fear and the uncertainty, this really messes people up. And what messes them up even more is when they don't know that they're operating from an emotional reaction. So the first thing I would suggest anybody do who's concerned about AI is take a deep breath and try to really get present to if you are having an emotional response. Do you feel it in your body? Do you think about the future? Do you hear a headline that says like all the jobs are going to be gone, and then you start feeling this like panic? That's an emotional response. It's very hard to be rational or powerful in that state. So that's why I want to just make you aware of it. Most people, we go into that state unconsciously. Once you become aware of it, you go, oh, okay, I'm feeling fear, and there's definitely some concerns, but what's the big picture? Now, the big picture is, of course, that there are positives to this technology. And there are people who are embracing it and using it to enhance their productivity and to create with the technology. And you can either resist what's happening or you can embrace it. And when I see people with a comment that's like, oh, AI is taking over, it's like, well, what are you going to do? You have got to keep living your life. The fearful energy is basically like, throw your hands up in the air and hide under your bed. That's not efficient. That's not practical. You need to find a career, a way to make money, something productive. And you need to have clear vision when you assess different opportunities. Now, in my last video, I'm not going to get into the whole details. I explain why digital marketing is still a very good field and why AI is a very powerful tool that is making digital marketers more efficient in PPC and SEO, and why you should definitely be using AI as a digital marketer because it's going to make you much more efficient. I explain why digital marketing is not a field where AI can realistically just, someone's just going to come in and push a button and all the jobs are gone. There is too much sophisticated work that goes into both paid advertising and SEO. In fact, a friend of mine who works at a big agency said they try to create a chatbot to emulate the SEO that they do, and they can't do it because the chatbot can't handle the amount of data that's required for that level of training. Now, in the future, is AI going to continue to improve? Yes, and yes. But the fundamental thing to understand about this technology, guys, and looking at it rationally, is that this is a predictive technology. It is trained on large data sets, and then it's not a person. It doesn't, even though it's trained to sound like a person, it's a bunch of code, and it's very, very amazing at predicting the next word to say. If you type in any question, it has so much data and such good programming that it predicts the next word to say to you. And it's fantastic. And it's programmed to always give you a positive answer, like the most positive answer that it can, even if it doesn't have the right information. So it will make stuff up. That's called a hallucination. Now, over time, these hallucinations are going to I'm sure they're going to be less and less. But fundamentally, what I'm saying is that it needs human oversight. There's two aspects to any of these jobs. You have to produce, let's say you're an SEO, technician, and you're doing on-page analysis and you're doing content creation. So you can use the AI to help you with your analysis. You can use it to create content. You can have it create 5 or 6, articles a day, maybe even 5 or 6 articles every hour if you wanted to. But what is the quality of that product? You still have to check the product. People don't think about this. AI needs oversight. If you have used AI yourself and you're not just reading the headlines and freaking out about it, you know that it's very, very brilliant at certain things, but that it also can really screw things up. And in a high stakes field like business where there's money involved, no business owner in the right mind is just going to trust an AI technology and just click a button and nobody's checking the work. And who checks the work? You can't have the AI check its own work at a certain point. Because at a certain point, if you write an SEO optimized article, someone's got to read it and make sure that it works. Anthropic, who makes Claude, there was a law firm who used the AI to do a bunch of citations, and they were incorrect. And they submitted all the legal documents without checking it, and then it was incorrect. And there was a lawsuit about this because this is not cool. You need to have someone who actually knew the law to double check the AI. This is an important fact to realize, because when people say all the jobs are going to be taken and it's just going to be a supercomputer running everything, they don't understand how it actually works. Now, what could happen and what is happening is that you might say, okay, now if there's a team of 10 people, and maybe 3 of the very junior people's job was to do very basic research of some kind, or a very low level of skill, then maybe those jobs will be lost, because now the person at the top, the manager, can now use an AI assistant to do a lot of that, and that is happening. But this is not a throw your hands up in the air, the sky is falling, run. This is more of okay, dig in and learn the technology. Learn how to be that person that knows how to use the AI. This is happening in coding. I've been reading about this. It's crazy. My girlfriend's a coder. She uses AI a lot to assist her with coding, but she has to know what to look for. And what's happening a little bit in coding is that junior development positions, the fear is the junior development positions are going to be wiped out because senior developers are going to use AI to do this sort of basic coding, which is happening. But then they're running into new problems, which is, number one, the AI, again, will make very big mistakes with the code, and then someone has to go in and fix it. And if you get into one of this AI messes, if you've used it enough, you know that at a certain point it's brilliant, but once it's screwed up and you try to fix it or it forgets something, it can make just an absolute mess of whatever you're working on, including code. And then somebody who actually knows what the code is supposed to look like has to go and fix it. And the problem is that they're going to realize this in the future, that if you get rid of all the junior developers and you only have people at the top who know how to code, eventually, when those guys retire, it's who's auditing the AI to make sure the code is correct? The point is, this is just one example of the new problems that are going to come up because of the AI. There's going to be new solutions that are needed, and there's still going to be needed human beings in the pipeline. So the real shift you need to make is say, what can I learn about this technology and how can I use it to make myself more efficient? You can go to ChatGPT and you can say, give me an SEO plan or a PPC plan, and it'll give you some good information, but it's not detailed enough to to not need human oversight. You don't just say, okay, do everything. Plus, it doesn't have the capacity to do all the stuff, especially with SEO that has so many procedures and steps, to just do it. And even again, if you're writing these SEO optimized articles, you need a human to, you need somebody who knows what the article is supposed to look like to actually vet it and make sure that it's fit for human consumption. When it comes to paid search and PPC, like I've said over and over, even if the technology advances to the point where an AI is so smart that you just push a button and it makes the perfect ad campaign, which is not even close to that, by the way. If it ever reached that point, Meta and Google cannot do a better job than a human because they have a profit motive. Google and Facebook, Meta, make money selling clicks to advertisers, and they want the advertisers, it's like a casino. They want them to make money, they want them to be profitable, so they'll keep coming back, but they can't make them too profitable. If the profit margin keeps dropping, if the conversion cost for the advertiser keeps dropping, if an advertiser has to spend $10,000 to make $50,000, Google could be pretty happy. But if that advertiser now is spending $5,000, $3,000, $2,000, and they're only spending $1,000 to make the same amount of money, guess who loses? Google and Meta. So they will never allow any technology to do that because these are publicly traded companies. They have to keep making profit quarter after quarter. That's my take on that. Even so, within that ecosystem, the technology, again, it needs checking, it needs oversight. You know, you could have the most brilliant AI in the world, it makes one mistake or it doesn't understand context, which it still doesn't fully, and you need a human being to make sure that everything looks good. You also are dealing with clients who want to talk to a human being. You know, and these clients and the students I have who work for large clients, they're spending $500,000 a month. It's really important to them to have the human contact there. And what's happening, again, I mentioned this before, Nick, one of my students who works at a big agency, the AI is helping him to the point where, you know, a report that used to take him 4 hours to do now takes him 1 hour. That's what AI is good for. It is good for efficiency. You know, you can plug in a spreadsheet, a bunch of data, it can output a ton of information. You still have to make sure that the data is accurate. It can help you brainstorm. And over time, it's going to get better and better at what it does, but you still need human beings in the pipeline. And you should look, when you're assessing a field, look and see what are the stakes. You know, is there something really important this job is doing, just like with doctors and lawyers. And I think that, you know, with lawyers it's similar. They're going to be using the AI to do a lot of research, but at the end of the day, you still need someone that knows the law to vet everything. When you're looking at different fields for careers, you should look at that aspect of it, and you should start using the technology. That's the other thing that creates fear, is when it's unknown and distant. And I think when it's like a year ago, I wasn't using the AI and I had a similar anxiety. Now that I use it, I find it to be not only extremely helpful, but I also see the limitations, and I also am building a new skill set because now I know how to interact with the AI in a very efficient way. I know how to prompt it, I know how to guide it. And that's what I want you guys to have. Once you start to use it, you know, you'll feel better about it. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out for a little bit. I just wanted to end the video with another shot of the ocean here. One thing I've really learned, even when I was working like 14-hour days, if I took a break every hour or 2 hours just to take a walk for 5 or 10 minutes, just to get outside, look at things far away, makes a huge difference. If you've been spending too much time online, on your phone, looking at YouTube, looking at TikTok, or reading the news, take a breath, get outside the house, look at nature, look at a bird, look at a squirrel, look at something in real life, and ground yourself in the physical reality before you get back into your head. If you ground yourself and see what's right around you, that's not in the kind of matrix of the whole news, social media, mental, you know, craziness that we all connect to, then you'll be more centered. It'll be easier for you to release that fear and have a more objective, powerful relationship to everything that's happening, whether it's AI or other things in your life. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Feel free to leave any comments or questions below. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about, and I will see you in the next video.